Hey, I'm Fred Minnick, and I'm about to tell you 5 things about this guy right here, Blantons. At number 5, how do you get it? Now, this is a question that everybody has who wants Blantons. It seems like it's a never-ending chase, and really, it's one that's kind of discouraging. You're almost guaranteed not to pay SRP. Now, back in the day, this right here was sitting on the shelf almost all over the country. The demand went up. People fell in love with the package. It was unjustified all the time. And then before you know it, you couldn't find it. So the best way to find Blantons right now is to go onto Drizzly, which is apparently selling a lot. It was one of their top 10 best-selling bourbons from last quarter. And that's because the people who are selling it on there have jacked up the SRPs and are finding people online who are willing to pay for it. Now, I will say that probably paying, 4 times the SRP may be a little ridiculous, but if you have the money, if that's what you want to do, then go for it. But so your best way to get a bottle is to probably get on Drizzly and look for Blantons. With that said, if you take a picture of it and put it on social media, don't be offended if somebody calls you a tater, which is a term that some people use to say you spent too much money on bourbon. At number 4, Albert Blanton was a real person who played a big role in bourbon after Prohibition. He ran a distillery called the George T. Stagg Distillery, also known as the Ancient Age Distillery, now known as Buffalo Trace. Now, Albert Blanton was a strong businessman, and one of his great accomplishments was hiring, or not hiring, Elmer T. Lee. Now, Mr. Blanton also had a tendency to go and pick his own barrels and give to people as gifts. For a long time, everybody thought that these were basically just as gifts, but we did find evidence some time ago that indeed these basically got into the market and were sold in Kentucky in stores. So Albert Blanton is responsible for the first commercially available single barrel. And at number 3, the third thing to know about Blantons is that Blantons was the first commercially available single barrel, but we didn't really start calling it a single barrel until 1984 when Blantons came out. When Blantons came out, it was actually targeting the Japanese. The Japanese had an incredible taste for bourbon at a time when Americans were moving toward tequilas, rums, and vodkas, and cream liqueurs. And the Japanese had a big taste for it, and so Blanton's was actually developed and targeting the Japanese market. And this bottle right here would play a big role in bourbon's comeback. So the single barrels and the small batch movement basically helped bring bourbon back. At number 2, this package right here, this bottle, this is what a lot of people think of when they think of bourbon or when they think of Kentucky. I dare say this is the best package in all of spirits because it captures the story of bourbon so well, and it captures the story of Kentucky very well. It's got a little horsey up here with the jockey, and if you buy several of these, you can actually spell out Blantons. You can see right here, right there, you can see the letter A. So this is A, and you can also get BLANTONS. Now, when they came out with this and when they were kind of hyping up their packaging, they were taking pop shots at Maker's Mark in newspapers ads and basically saying, "Oh, Maker's Mark, we're so sorry that you have to rely on your packaging to sell your whiskey." And so it's kind of ironic because the first thing that you need to know about Blantons, in my opinion, is it is overrated. Look, I love the story of Blantons, and I love what Blantons has done for bourbon. And 10, 15 years ago, when I could buy it straight off the shelf, I was always talking about it. I don't think the whiskey warrants the craziness around the bottle. I actually think that I would be taking Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare almost every day of the week over Blantons. And here's the other thing, is that I've rated both of those products, as well as Maker's Mark and Woodford Reserve, higher than Blanton's when I used to rate whiskeys for Whiskey Advocate. Also, it has never performed well in blind tastings for me, whether it was at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition or whether it was right here on this channel when I was doing blind tastings, and I've done those several times. But really, the proof in the pudding is like not me necessarily. It's when you take the same whiskey to somebody who is thought to be in love with it, and you let them taste it blind, and you almost always find that Blanton's does not live up to our expectations of it. Actually, take a look at this clip right here when I sent a blind sample to my good friend Steve Zabin, a sportscaster in Washington, D.C. Take a look at his reaction.
Do you want to know what B is?
Yeah.
Pick your so B
or loser.
Wait, can I guess?
Yeah.
Uncle Jed's bathtub. Am I right?
Very close. It's actually
Damn.
Old Overhold.
Blanton.
It's Blanton's. I knew it. I was going to say that. I was going to say Blanton's. I should have said it.
No! Oh, no!
Unbelievable.
No, this is unbelievable.
The most sought after, one of the most sought after bourbons in all the world.
Holy
When you say sought after, what you mean is overrated.
Overrated.
Oh my God! Overrated.
To quote Steve Zabin, who forgot to bring the flavor?
So as you can see, Blanton's did not appeal to Steve Zabin, nor myself in that blind tasting, but still, every time I see a bottle, and I think it's within the reason of what it's worth, I'll buy it. Maybe sometimes I'm caught up by the hype as well, because I do love this bottle, and again, I do love the story of it. And occasionally, you do find a special bottle of Blanton's because it is a single barrel, and by definition of being a single barrel, it's inconsistent from bottle to bottle. So maybe that's the true story of Blanton's, is that not it's that it's overhyped or it's not good. It's that it's a journey to find the perfect one for you. And once that bottle's gone, you're probably never going to find another one that tastes like it again. So that's going to do it for 5 things you need to know about this bourbon. Click that subscribe button if you would like to learn more about American whiskey and get honest reviews, as well as seeing like how celebrities perceive whiskey. And if you'd like to become a member in the members only community, just click the join button right next to the subscribe button. The members learn about my whiskeys of the year before everybody else. So that'll do it. Thank you so much for your time. Be safe out there. Don't go licking handrails. Don't go licking trash cans. And remember, vodka sucks unless it's being used for hand sanitizer. Cheers.